question. What if?
Inevitable.
What is up? What is up, people? What is going on? Someone's bleeding through. I don't know if that was me. No, that wasn't me. What's up, guys? How you doing? Welcome back, or welcome to the first episode of a What If What Roundtable. Glad you guys can make it.
I just got the cease and desist from Disney. Fam, they coming at you about that intro, bro. It's over for you.
I think if they do come at me, they'll be like, "Oh, nice intro. We need you to make a commercials for us now." You know. We got a nice panel here today. G Major sent a $20 super chat. Thank you very much. He said, "What up, though? Come on, get this thing started." Yeah, I know it started a little bit late. I'm sorry, guys, but you know, black people time, right? It's never
black people time.
I'm always on time.
Yeah, you were a few minutes right on time. Few minutes, but you were there. So we're gonna go around the panel real quick so these guys could talk about their channels, and then we will get it on and popping. First up, we have Danny Graham. What's up, Danny? Talk to the people, sir.
What's up, bam? There, comment chat. You can find me Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Khaos Central Network. We're doing my show, Khaos Conversation. It's usually 4 or 5 topics. We spend about 10 minutes each on them, and we finished up. Whew, thank God. 16 episodes of the Bad Batch. That is behind me. Thank the Lord. And now I'm ready to go. Anzo's What If. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an outstanding show. So I'm ready to be here, ready to see. I think it's going to be a little bit of controversy. So I'm all about observing that. So we will see it. Ready to go, bro. Thanks for inviting me.
Not a problem. Glad you can make it. Next up, Chris Knight. Talk to the people, sir.
What's going on? Real Review 3000 is my channel. Got a little thing going on also called Khaos Central. Anzo and Danny are part of that. Make sure you check that out. KhaosCentral.com is the website. You can check that out too. And yeah, but thank you for having me on, Anzo. And I cannot wait to talk about this.
Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Ninjoid. What's up, man? Glad you can make it. Ninjoid was there in the watch party watching it with me.
Yep.
Tell the people about your channel, sir.
All right. You guys can personally find me on my own YouTube channel, Ninjoid243, where over there we have a lot of stuff coming up, such as my Ninjoid cut fan edit of The Last Jedi, the entire movie, retold into a new way by me, of course, and that will be coming out as soon as possible. And we have always my show known as Galactic Chat on Friday nights, and I can't wait to talk about What If today, Anzo. So yeah.
All righty. Next up is Mr. LDG from Geeks Enjoy. What's up, sir?
What's going on? And I'm having small technical difficulties. Of course.
See right? What happens when you try to fuck around? That's what happens. You do them eye shit. Yeah,
unplug the damn eyes already.
Dear God, I swear to God. All right. Now I had a new toy to play with. Besides
I told eyes, what did I tell? What did I just say? Like 10 minutes ago. He's gonna have a new toy. It's just a
matter of time, right?
It is.
Word for word.
What's going on, guys? There we go. All right. It's LDG of Geeks Enjoy on YouTube, guys. You can check me out there. On Twitter at Geeks Enjoy. You can check me out there. Yeah. I just caught up today. Did the watch party for episode 1. You know, that show called What If the MCU was good. We had fun over there and ready to tear this up.
Next up, Yellow Does It.
Yellow Does It, fam. You already know what it is, man. You know where to find me. You know how I do things. And if you don't, get familiar. Today ain't about me. This is about Anzo in the round table. You feel me? What if? This is about Captain Carter. You know, this ain't about the Great Council. This ain't about that.
Cheap plugs in there all the ways, but I see what you're doing. It's not about the Great Council, but it's about Hanzo, right? It's not about me. It's all good, bro. Next up, Positive Candor. And just to let you guys know, we are missing Lunga, so hopefully he pops in later on. And K-Dots was supposed to pop in, so we'll see if those guys pop in. But Positive Candor, talk to the people, sir.
All right, Positive Candor. You can check me out on Positive Candor or on Twitter at Positive Candor. Either one, same name. Multiple places.
Excellent. There you go. So, guys, you know how we do. This is the What If Roundtable. We're going to start off with our first impressions, what you thought of the show overall. And, of course, I'm going to start it off with Danny Graham. What were your overall impressions of the What If series, bro? Episode 1.
Okay. I'm going in as a fan. I'm looking at it only as a fan. I'm not trying to break down. I'm not trying to critique. I'm not trying to do all that stuff. I'm as a fan. I liked it. I saw similarities to Captain America's story. I see that. I saw little differences. I heard somebody today talking about some woke shit. I'm not getting into all that. I will address it if I'm asked directly, but I don't care about all that woke shit. This is What If.
Look,
So What If
people
Captain,
who see woke were asleep.
whatever her name is. Yeah. So what if Captain, whatever her name, Peggy Carter is the first Avenger? Look, this ain't real. This ain't canon to my understanding. So I really don't care. This is the What If thing. If you were a collector of comic books and you saw What If, I had one floating around somewhere. What if Wolverine was the king of the vampires? So I'm looking at it like that. Was it a home run? No, but hey, it occupied my time for 30 minutes. I want to see what that one is. I saw a little bit of previews. I think it's going to be more like Black Panther was part of Guardians of the Galaxy. That looks more interesting to me. Overall, I didn't hate it. I'm not in love with it, but I did not hate this episode.
Excellent. Chris Knight, what did you think? Your overall impressions?
Just watching it, it's pretty nice. I like the animation style, and it kept moving. There were some interesting twists in it. I liked that. If I'm going to analyze it for the concept, it sucked. Honestly, absolutely was the worst trash you could ever see. Because, yeah, I'll get into that. But anyways, so I'm going to give it two perspectives because I did watch this like Danny. I watched it just watching it and I liked it. But then I stopped and I said, well, wait a minute. I gotta look at it for what they're trying to sell it to me as. So we'll get to that.
All right. LDG. God, here we go.
Yo, I thought it was great. I put it right above, the best, like Teletubbies and then Clues and Dora Explorer. Listen, if you want to shut your kid up for 30 minutes, man, this is the show to throw at them. Okay, this is a great show for those people between like the ages of 3 and 12. Unless you're trying to stay away from growing another millennium, then cut it off around 6. Okay. But besides that, yeah, it was excellent. Now, if you actually care about connecting with your story, you might want to hit pass on this one. Okay. A bit mind wrecking, unless you work at Subway or something. You're on your 30-minute break, and you're eating something. You need something to watch real quick, where you're just make sure you're paying more attention to the sandwich than the show, because you'll just go mindless if you do.
All right. Next up, actually, one goes back. So, oh no, that's Khaos. Khaos in the house. All right. Next up, Yellow. First impressions of the episode.
I fucking loved it. It was exactly what the What If comics have always been. A quick little, hey, what if this happened? Here's how it's different. Here's how it's the same. Have fun and enjoy it. I think the animation was gorgeous. The choreography of it, the action sequences and this shit, fucking amazing, bro. I mean, the way they play with the lore, there was like a tentacle monster in the MCU. The What Ifs, I don't know if they catered or not catered. There's some debate about that. I don't know what Marvel is saying. I don't care. There was a tentacle monster in the MCU. Steve Rogers wore a fully blown prototype Iron Man suit powered by the Tesseract. That's just dope shit. You know what I'm saying? And I really, yeah, I was all in, bro. I was all in. And it was funny. Yeah, I was all in. If I did have to say that something was wrong with it, is it was made for kids. It's a kids show. It's on Disney Plus. It's rated, whatever it's rated. And they had corny like lines of dialogue that will appeal to children in it. I was like, why do we say that? But otherwise, I fucking love that shit.
All right. Next up is Daddy Lunga. First up, tell the people where they can find you, and then your first impressions of this show.
Great Council, every day or Tuesday through Friday over at the Great Council. Me and Yellow do our midday mashup over there, and I try to do some other stuff as well over on the Great Council and Darth Lunga on Twitter. Just right off the bat, I just want to say I will never understand how people who love things as a child get angry as an adult when it's still for children, which is what made them like it to begin with. I'll never understand that, but hey, that's just me. But my first impression is animation, spectacular. Voice acting, spectacular. Story, it's a what-if story. Like Yellow said, the whole point of this is, and if you are a Marvel fan, if you are a what-if fan, the whole point of this is to take the craziest things you could think of and what if this happened. Come on, guys, there's Marvel zombies. Let's be fair. There's Marvel freaking zombies.
Yeah, I'm hyped for that. Okay.
So it for what it was sold as and for what it is, it hit all those points. Now, people can get angry about this thing. Fine. People can find whatever reason not to like something, and that's perfectly fine. However, they cannot, and I will counter any argument that says they didn't like it because it didn't live up to what it's supposed to be. That is where I feel the line is drawn.
All righty. So Lunga loved it. Nindroid.
Overall, I thought it was an okay episode. The animation, though, was outstanding. I will agree. Fantastic. Something new within animation. But the story overall was very just like a retelling of, the first Avenger and all of that. So to me, it was just okay. Nothing spectacular, in my opinion.
All right. Next up is K-Dots. What did you think?
I thought the story was cool. It was just cool. Nothing spectacular, grand, or all that. Animation was good. I love the action. I think the action was actually the highlight of this episode, to be honest. Aside from anything else, dialogue, super corny. It is for kids, which, hey, I'm cool with. It's for kids and stuff. It won't stop me from watching it, but it is for kids. That's a fact. And only issue I had was just the ending, but that's it.
Right, we'll get into what we didn't like as well. But before we go on, tell the people where they can find you, sir, because you didn't get a chance to.
They can find me at SJK.Sanctum. Whatever name you guys see right here on my picture, you guys can find me there. Just type it in exactly how you see it there.
There you go. And last but not least, Mr. Positive Candor. Talk to the people, sir. What did you like about this episode? Or your overall of this episode, sorry.
Yeah, I think they should change the title from What If to What For, basically.
That was funny.
That was good.
And the delivery too. He said, I think
Because, I mean, if you're going to basically retell,
it was smooth.
If you're going to basically retell every movie, and that's what it seems like, except for the zombie one, then what for, really? It's just, I hate to say it, but a waste of 30 minutes of time, almost.
No, it's kind of how What If works. It's what if things happen different. They have to happen a certain way for them to happen.
And can I interject? The point of What If is to what if of stuff we know, and this is stuff that's happening in the MCU. They can't what if a story of Wolverine, which hasn't been in the MCU. It's got to focus around stories told in the MCU. Right, LDG. It could if you want to make something that doesn't make any freaking sense. But it has to make sense in the universe that's set in LG. It's in the MCU. You can't just introduce a new character in a what if that hasn't been introduced in the universe.
See, that's what I'm saying. This would have been the perfect time to introduce some new characters. We already have the series.
It's what if.
Exactly. But we
know that they have those characters.
You don't need backstory. Right. It's outside of the universe, so it doesn't screw with canon. So you can have a Wolverine that has, whatever the hell. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? This could have been the perfect stomping ground for them to try new characters to see who's going to be in Phase 15. You know what I mean? We already have the miniseries, for God's sakes, right? The miniseries was supposed to build off of what we know already, like WandaVision and the Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Loki. Freaking, this could have been a nice launching ground for them instead of going deeper down the rabbit hole and basically creating like Star Trek Prodigy for the MCU.
Sure. The word isn't can't. Of course, they can do whatever they want. Of course, that's right. But I'm talking with a logical mind, not a fan mind of, I want to see these new things. I don't want to see this other shit I've seen already in a different version. But that is what a what if is. A what if is taking things you've seen and showing you an alternate reality of it. Now, in the comic books, we've seen everything. All the X-Men, all the Fantastic Four, all the Marvel, we've seen all of them. So what if in that situation with all those characters makes sense? In the what if comic books, they never introduce a completely new hero that you've never seen in the comic books and started them off in what if and then brought them into main continuity. That just, it doesn't make sense. The whole point of it
neither would I.
What you've seen already in the universe, and what if this happened in this timeline? That's what we're looking at.
Exactly.
As more people get involved and more characters come in, there'll be more what ifs involving them. But to me, it's off introducing a character in a what if. And actually, I think it's kind of cheap if you introduce it in a what if.
All right. So now, I thought it was a good episode. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was good. You know what I mean? And I've been a what if fan since the comic book. So for me, it's like, yes, what if Peggy Carter took, it makes sense. That's what they do in the comic book, you know? They say, what if something changed? And the one thing I liked about it, well, we'll get into our likes before, but overall, I just thought it was a really good episode. I can't wait to see the rest of them. The animation is fucking fire. Like, it really looks good. And the fight scenes were great. But again, I'll get into what I liked about it first. But that's the next topic we're going to get into is our likes on this episode. So Danny Graham, what did you like on the first episode? What were your takeaways?
I'm going to echo a lot what y'all said. The animation, it reminds me of the heavy metal animation. That's what was originally came to my mind when I saw it.
Frank Frenzel.
I like the story. I agree totally what Lunga said about it wouldn't make sense to introduce another character, but to go ahead and do the different just sudden changes within what we already know. Like I said, the next episode, from what I've seen, man, I've never even considered what if Black Panther was Guardian of the Galaxy, man. That could be a hot episode. That right there has me very interested in seeing what they got later on down the road. So I definitely like the concept. Like I said, I'm not in love with the first episode, but I don't hate it. But I think as the what if shows keep coming, that it's gonna pick up. They're gonna show us some things that we never even thought of. But for this episode, I wasn't mad at it. I thought it was really cool how Howard Stark's first Iron Man was very similar to Tony Stark's Iron Man that we saw. So I thought it was really cool how they did that. And then as Yella said, if you notice, the first time he was powered by the Tesseract, and the second time it was just a regular source, and the flames were even different. It was yellow, blue in one, and red or orange or yellow in the other one. So I thought it was hot how they did that, man. Like I said, Marvel, man, they know what they're doing. People may not like it. Some people on the panel may not like it. But at the end of the day, they know what they're doing, and I'm going to rock with them.
Absolutely. Before I move on, just real quick, G Major with another $5 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Much appreciated. Said a lot of individuals don't know Marvel comic book lore, only MCU. So if so, we would get what if Wolverine killed the Hulk. Yeah, not one of the what if comics cartoons I want to see. I remember that comic, and I'm like, no, because I'm a Hulk fan. Skip that one, Marvel.
It was hot. What are you talking about? I would love to see that.
Wait. Did you see the movie?
This shit was hot.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ,
Wolverine.
LDG.
Wolverine.
Everybody's swinging their thumbnails. I figured I'd do it here. What the hell's the problem here, man?
Yeah, I did see it, Kate.
Yes, 12-year-olds are doing exactly that in their thumbnails. You're right. Jesus Christ.
All right, Chris.
You calling? Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Listen, to each your own. He has his flair. His flair may be a little lame, but listen, flair is flair. You know, he's expressing his truth. Just let him do it.
Exactly. There we go. I want to make sure I'm paying attention. Either that or I just smoke some really good stuff.
Chris Knight, what did you like about this episode, bro?
Like I already said, animation for sure. Now, again, I'll just go off of when I watched it. I liked it. It made sense. Everything they did in it worked well within itself. You know, I like the twists that they put on the original Captain America story with the tentacle monster for one. The fact that there was some back and forth with the Tesseract. The Tesseract actually played a major role with the Iron Man suit that Howard Stark ended up doing. I liked that thought process with it. But later on, I'll get to why that to me doesn't work for this concept. But looking at it, the series or this episode was done. I don't know. It was just a really good, fun time. If you're just watching it, that's the long and short of it. If you're just watching it, it goes by really well.
What
concept works.
What was it? Like, you weren't watching it, so what were you doing with it that you like?
I watched it twice. I watched it once, just straight through, looked at it for what it was, and then I went back and I thought about it and I watched it again, and that's when I have the problems. But we'll get to that.
Get into that with what we don't like, because I believe that shit is gonna be hot right there. What we don't like about it, yeah, that part's gonna be hot. Anything else, Chris?
No, not really. I mean, I want to go into everything else that other people might say, but like I said, the story, the switches, and stuff like that, they worked well for this. I did like the fact that they didn't kill Steve Rogers. I thought that would have been a really easy move, but it was better to have it in there because I think somebody said it here somewhere about how at least their dynamic didn't change except for he wasn't Captain America and she was, for lack of a better term. I liked that they kept that because it worked naturally just about like it did in the movie between the two of them when he was Captain America. So that was cool that they kept that around. It wasn't like, oh, I'm this now, so screw you, Steve, get the hell out of my way. She still wanted him there, and he knew he served a purpose. So that was nice.
Excellent. No problem. And LDG, is there anything you liked about it? Because
he's tweaking.
Got me a few views on my channel.
Maybe you should watch it with those eyes. So maybe like understand more. You'll actually take
Tell me about
more.
it. Maybe. I mean, like I said, as far as like killing time for 30 minutes, yeah, I liked it. Now, listen, I come out straight up and say it sucked. Okay, now I've told you things suck. Game. All right, I'll be the first person to step in the line that this thing sucks. Okay, but it doesn't suck. Okay, it was good as long as you don't pay attention. I mean, they tried to slip so many things right by you with no explanation.
The guy compares it to Teletubbies. He goes, but it doesn't suck. You just don't pay attention to shit and you'll be fine.
Just don't pay attention. Just watch. It's a good watch.
If you don't pay attention to the Teletubbies, it might be great. I mean, who knows?
I mean, I saw better animation on Beast Wars, for God's sakes. And I got vertigo watching the Transform.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
I mean,
liar.
Somebody knows to look at 3D graphics.
I need these drugs.
They could have done a little better on it. Yeah. But anyway, no, seriously, it was decent enough to kill 30 minutes. It was a good watch. I mean, if you enjoy watching the big bad huff and puff and slip on his own banana peel, yeah, it's great. It's awesome. But that's about it. That's as much water as it holds. Okay, as much as that. It's a good, simple watch. Pass the time. And move on to the next one. Another great thing about the show is, thank God that's it, right? We're not going to get any more Captain Carter, the Hulk.
Actually, you are. Sorry to break this to you, but you are.
We're going to get some more?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Because
lovely.
these what-ifs are all telling a story throughout the season.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, so they're actually going to be
when you don't pay attention to the story, that's what happens. You miss things.
It's only the first episode here, Chief. I don't have fucking telekinesis to look into the future. But if they're actually going to like merge in the end, that's awesome. That's good. Finally, something I can think about.
Before we get to Yellow, Flash sent a $2 super chat. Thank you very much, Flash. Much appreciated. He said, "What if is so great? What if is great? So many possibilities. Loved it. Absolutely, man. There's things that they're gonna do in this, and like Lunga said, I can't wait for the zombies, man. I cannot wait for the zombies.
LDG,
Actually, looking forward to the zombies too.
Make sure you don't overthink it. We know what happened last time you did that.
Yeah, went to the hospital. Yellow does it. What did you like about this episode?
How much time do we got, fam?
Go ahead, bro.
I liked a lot, man. Like it's one of the easiest kids show that I like to watch for me. One, it exists in the MCU, something that I think we all like. Maybe some of us don't, but like being able to explore a different version of who gets the shield during that World War II thing. Super dope, bro. Like that's just such a dope thing. And then instead of benching Steve, right, like they did Peggy kind of played a role in the first Avenger movie, right? She was sidelined. She was mostly working, in the office, the desk or whatever. She was like, Steve having the heart that he had, right? Being the guy that he was. The first one, they were like, we got to put him in this machine to make him big. Having the oomph, the chutzpah, if you will, the moxie, you feel what I'm saying? The unmitigated gall. Howard was like, yeah, we can't have this guy sitting on the side. I got an idea, you know what I mean? And I really appreciate how they did that. The same way how it was Chris Knight said, you feel what I'm saying? Like, so the fact that they didn't bench Steve was a big deal for me. All of the action sequences, Sam, like I mentioned, and K-Dots, followed up. All of the action sequences in this shit was great. And the way how the attention to detail, because they could have easily just had her fight like Steve. But she didn't fight like Steve. You know what I'm saying? Like she fought a completely different type of way. And it was so dope. Like it was just a lot of fun watching. They had a lot of gorgeous shots in it. The voice acting was great. I think, yeah, man, the other changes too, because like they didn't kill Erskine in this, right? You know what I'm saying? So there's like some things going on there. So there's more possibility for more super soldier serum. And I don't know, we don't know if that's going to turn into anything, but like just the way, the little changes that they made along the way, right? Super dope, man. I really appreciated seeing it. And I like that it didn't waste time, right? People are like, it's an easy 30 minutes to watch. It's a packed, right? Fast paced, because we know the story. So they only have to show us the highlights. And they did that. And I enjoyed fucking watching every single one of them, yeah, man. Yeah. And then the way that they explain the 70-year gap. Sci-fi nerd? Touch me with all of the portal, in and out the portal with the tentacle monster. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know, man. And this is, I imagine that based on, like, because I'm not saying this is a perfect show. I'm not saying that, right? But it's really fucking good. And I expect them to get better and better. Yeah, no, I think this is how you open a fucking show, man. This is a season opener for a show, for a series like this. What if? Yeah. She set the bar high, and I'm excited to see where they take it.
Go ahead, Chris.
I'll agree with him on that point right there. This was the right one to open up with, and like I said, I might bring up some problems.
I agree.
That I find an issue.
Turn it into a negative, but I agree.
No. I'm not going to turn it into a negative. I'm going to talk about. Listen, I agree with Danny when we talk about why can't we just watch these for what they are, okay? And I did that, and I will give it every bit of the credit for those things. But when I look at it for what it's supposed to be, is where I have the problems. Again, we'll get to that later. But no, I do agree with you though, is that this was a good opening one. It didn't rattle the very foundation of everything we think about with the MCU. It said, okay, we're going to change a few things. We're going to ease you into this. And hopefully, like with the zombie thing, they're going to get some crazy shit into this. But no, I agree with that. That it was the right move for the first run.
Who is the technical monster?
It's the actual Hydra.
Shuma-Gorath, right? That's the first thing I said.
Yeah. I was just going to say that. It
isn't Shuma-Gorath. I mean, for God's sake, a tentacle monster. Can we get
check your pulse, LDG? Check your pulse. Check your pulse.
Can we get a little original? And Trekkies can relate with me. I mean, how many times do we see?
I have tentacle monsters in my comic book Isidore and Immortal Chains. It's Lovecraftian, bro. Don't go after tentacle monsters.
Isn't it official that every supernatural portal there's a tentacle monster holding gate, like the guard of every interdimensional portal is a tentacle monster? Really, I didn't want tentacle porn in my what if.
I mean,
Okay.
isn't it every time Marvel comes out with something you cry about how bad it is? I mean, we're used to these things. It's just,
As soon as they give me something good, like,
Let me get to this super chat real quick. $10 from G Major. Thank you again, brother. Much appreciated. Love the support. Again, thank you. The Spider-Man wearing a cape could be what if Spider-Man became the Sorcerer Supreme, but the comic, he didn't become a superhero. Pretty much if Uncle Ben didn't die. Rather see that. You'd rather see him not become the superhero? I would rather him see what he's going to do with Doctor Strange's
Just
cape.
gonna watch him go to the store.
I do
understand.
believe
what are we
in the
gonna-
comic books there were multiple what ifs with Peter Parker. With
Of
multiple
course they
different
were.
things.
Yeah, yeah,
Spider-Man's
yeah,
one of
yeah.
the biggest characters in history.
I know.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course
you're
they were.
picking one, which was obvious. What if Uncle Ben didn't die? Yeah, but there was more. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But then what does
Well,
Peter
I'm
do?
glad we
Does he
got
just
the-
like? Does he go to
I-
prom with Mary Jane? Accidentally get her pregnant? Like, what is the storyline? I'm just curious.
I don't remember.
There's a Walmart,
I don't.
I imagine his life might be shittier since when he became Spider-Man, his social skills got better.
Still got
Yeah,
bullied
imagine
and
life-
stuff.
I mean, we all know he only became a photographer the way he did because he was Spider-Man taking pictures of himself. So
But
let's
he
be
was
fair.
big before Uncle Ben died, right? Like that's the whole thing, right? Because the great power, great responsibility.
Yeah, he
thing.
was.
So
No,
he
no.
was
Well,
already.
Uncle
So does he just
Uncle
walk
Ben-
around without like?
Uncle Ben
what
was
is-
the reason he didn't use his powers for nothing bad.
No, but what
Yeah, but that-
what Yellow's saying, he got
Oh,
his.
so are
He
they
got
saying
bit.
he becomes a villain? Because Uncle Ben was
Yeah.
alive? That's an interesting twist.
I don't know.
I-
It's all,
I'll
Uncle
go
loved me
look-
too much.
I'll
Fuck the
go look at
world.
that. I'll go look at that. See if I can find anything.
Yeah, but that's
about
true. He
it.
did get bit before Uncle Ben died. So yeah.
And while I
I'm
do
just glad
that,
they gave us female Hulk in this episode. That was great, man, because she was doing some really incredible shit.
we will get into that LDG. Don't worry, because I know what Don't likes is gonna be a hot take. So Lunga, what did you like about this episode? Go ahead, brother. Talk to the
What I
people.
liked about it is it makes small-minded people angry. That's what I love about it. Right there, hot take. We'll just come right out the bat. It makes small-minded people angry, and that just feeds me. It makes I kid, I jest. No. Again, the animation obviously was spectacular. The story
pretty
was
damn
great.
good to
It
me.
takes a very. It
Oh my
takes
God, Donnie.
it takes just a very simple change, which is what if is about. It's like because one little thing, the way Jeffrey Wright, who brilliantly, no one
Oh
brought up
my
Jeffrey Wright,
God.
brilliantly
Oh, the narrator.
narrated
How did
this
I
as
miss that?
Uatu. Okay, brilliantly narrated the episode as Uatu the Watcher. Just all it takes is
Not a
one
fan
little
of the
thing,
voice.
and it was just her being down on the
Staying
floor.
in the room. Yep.
You know what I mean? And that little change changed all this, and it created this whole different aspect of stuff, and it shows her duty. She's like, someone has to do this. Not like, oh, I'm the perfect person for this. It's like, who else are you gonna get? There ain't nobody here right now. This is what has to happen. She did that. The fact that they didn't diminish Steve. The whole point of Steve was, even as the 90-pound weakling, he jumping on the grenade and everything, right? Doing whatever he can to help people.
Yes.
So even now, even after he didn't get the super soldier serum, he still finds a way to try to be heroic and to help people and to save people. They didn't diminish him. They didn't diminish their relationship. They did all these great things to tell this little story, which is going to open up a whole bunch of other stories and a whole bunch of timelines, which is what we saw in Loki with the variants. That's what this is literally about. It's a time variant of what if this happened. That was spectacularly done. The way they set up just the whole story leading up to the end to the reveal of how she was also locked away for 70 years, which ended up different, went very well. And like Yellow said, the fact that they did this all in 30 minutes and just packed it with the important parts of the story, leaving out the other parts of the story that we already know there are parallels with Steve's, and telling us this great little story to introduce us into this here new what if world. Haley Atwell, her voice is always spectacular. All the voices were in there were good. Everyone I thought did great. It was just to me, it delivered exactly what it's supposed to do as a what if story. It delivered it. So that's how I felt.
100.
Those are my likes.
100%. Next up, K Dots. What'd you like about this episode, brother?
Pretty much said earlier, animation, the action, still the best part. That shit was amazing. It showed us what a super soldier should be, but due to live action, we're gonna get our limitations. But Peggy Carter, probably the best super soldier we've seen in the MCU so far. I did like one part of the episode where there was a parallel between Steve and Peggy. How Steve, before the serum, he was seen as useless and nobody really didn't notice him. He got bullied. He was seen as, weak. But Peggy also shared the same issues because she said, as a woman, she wasn't really noticed. It made sense for this time. This World War II. Women still wasn't ever as respected as men back in this time. So it makes sense. And I saw the parallel between them both not feeling noticed or having any purpose in life. And I like that they both had that parallel. And this episode made that clear. Low key, I gotta say it. Buff Peggy is kind of sexy. I ain't gotta keep it a buck. But she can lift me up. I don't care. She can lift me up, do whatever. That was kind of
okay. That's we know where you flow. We know what side. We know where you are.
But right. I mean, it's pretty much what I like from this episode. Other than that, it was cool. Oh, Hydra Stomper was cool as fuck too. Looked like a big ironmonger, but Hydra Stomper was cool to see.
That was Ironmonger
That name was
2.0.
trash.
What was that? Danny, what were you saying?
I said that was Ironmonger 2.0.
0.8, like behind. It was like, you mean Ironmonger Alpha test. It was before Ironmonger. I can't. That's not even. I don't even. I didn't like the name Hydra Stomper. I thought it was just. I don't know. That was where that child thing. And I know, like, I guess Captain America, when he was like Hydra, he was going by Stomper or something weird like that. So it's kind of like, Easter egg for that kind of stuff, but I don't care. Yeah.
Alrighty. And positive candor, were there anything that you did like about it? Anything you liked about it?
No.
Nothing?
Well,
Nothing.
would you like to elaborate on that?
Positive candor.
Can you elaborate on that? It is his name is a conundrum of many sorts.
Okay.
Is there anything that you liked that you didn't like about what you didn't like?
What up?
No, you don't like it. We're good. No, don't push it. Don't push it. He didn't like it. We can move on to the next segment.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's move on.
Diversity, brother. Diversity.
The next segment will be what we didn't like, and I'm just gonna basically agree with most of everything you guys said, maybe except for LDG because he's been trying to be positive but trash it in a certain way, trying to be positive, positive. Yeah, like I'm positive, trashing it in a positive way, but no, I agree with everything like you guys said. Go ahead, Longo. What were you gonna say?
No. Go ahead.
I agree with everything you guys said. What LDG? What?
No. I finish and I'll add on you. I'm sorry, I forgot that this goes around and bites itself in his tail with you. Go ahead and finish first.
No, but you had something to say, so go ahead, get it out there.
I just wanted to say, I mean, to be fair, okay, you guys know, like, I joke around and everything, but I mean, I did enjoy the action scenes. I thought some of it was a little exaggerated. I don't think that she could have stopped that damn tank shell. I mean, I thought that, and what she did with that.
The same guy who said, "Give me 2 or 3 more fight scenes in Loki."
No,
always a cartoon.
I'm trying,
it's too exaggerated.
Now I'm trying to give it credit. The fight scenes were when she was kicking all those bitches' ass with the freaking shield and all that back and forth, and that one guy thought, it was like, "Are you blind?" She just knocked over a full speed truck, and what do you think you're going to do? There's flames everywhere. Everybody's laying half dead on the ground, and that one guy, right, that one last guy, she beat his ass and knocked his kneecap and shit. Thought he was going to do something, right? The action scenes were good. I did enjoy it, even though I thought that was slightly exaggerated. So yeah, that there was one other thing, but I just can't remember what the hell it was.
Can I quantify just clarify just a little bit? When you say exaggerated, do you mean exaggerated for a Captain America or for Peggy
For a
Carter?
Captain America, for a super soldier. I get a super soldier is supposed to be strong. I'm not trying to take away from that, but the damn tank shell, I think, was, and the way she hit, it's not like she took it right and like she just like splat like it was like a fly just coming at her. She just think
and I
with
hate
one
to
arm.
say, and I hate
with the
this.
vibranium shield that absorbs energy.
Yeah, but look,
right,
I
that's
hate
what the shield does.
No, but I hate to say this because when Captain America took a shot from Bucky in Civil War, he went flying through a bus. And that was from a regular bullet.
See, that's because his feet wasn't set. You feel what I'm saying? If you don't have your feet set.
Well, I mean, if we want to be realistic, though, we know that with these heroes for over 10 years, different directors, different writers, they to get their movie the way they want it to be, they want some drama, whatever. They want it to show, oh, Bucky knocked him on his ass. When in another movie, it's like, oh, those power levels don't match. I mean, that's. You're gonna get that over 10 years of some kind of movies like this. It's just they're plot holes. It's gonna happen.
I mean, the only other thing besides that was the motorcycle scene. How the F did she even do that with that motorcycle?
We will get to that. We will get to that. You can give us your
Peggy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Peggy was a lot bigger than Steve when she went in to the chamber. I mean, we don't really know how the super soldier serum works, but maybe she's stronger.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But I
mean,
say
because this is the thing I noticed. If we look at it compared to the serums now, so the serum Steve took made him bigger. He grew in size, got taller, more muscles. But if you look at, say, the serum that Carly and them took, and even John Walker, they didn't really grow in size or nothing. But mind you, that's a new version of that serum from the past.
Right.
So I don't know.
Steve's was the only original one.
Yeah, that's why I noticed, and it kind of made sense for Peggy to get her shoulders get more broad, a little bit taller, because she really only got a little taller, and her shoulders got a little bit more broad. She got wider. She didn't get super buff.
And she probably looked like she could kick Steve's ass before she even got the fucking serum, right? So she probably could.
Oh yeah, before the serum, Peggy would whack Steve's ass.
Right
before the serum, she ain't need that shit. She would have waxed his little skinny ass.
Right. So she probably got stronger. So I'll give it that. I'm just saying that.
Well, I wouldn't say stronger in the sense of she should be stronger than Steve, but she.
Why not? If she's already stronger than him, and then she gets the juice.
Yeah.
I think everyone, if whoever is compatible with taking the juice, I think the power level would be the same for all of them. I think a cap, their power level is the same for everybody who takes it. If their body is compatible with that first serum.
They say it makes you more of what you are. That's what they say. So why would they be the same?
I mean, well, if in that case, on emotion, you act as a person.
What kind of bullshit are you trying to put? All right, my fault.
What did he started stuttering on that one?
What did he say?
Because
emotions.
Because they wasn't talking about strength. From Falcon Winter Soldier, they were talking about personality traits, not strength.
They did talk about that too.
Yeah, there's something about personality. It will enhance your personality, not strength.
That was the context of the conversation. It'll make. They were talking about how it turned Red Skull evil, and it'll make a good man good. But what he said was it makes you more of what you are. So there's no reason to assume that there's a cap on it.
Right. Well, look at it like this. Remember that serum made Red Skull ugly, so he has a lot of reasons to be angry. It made him ugly.
Facts.
He's red.
He was angry to begin with, and it made him more angry.
He probably got even angry because he looked ugly. It probably could have been white, but
Phil Melita sent a $2 super chat. Once again, brother. Does she really destroy the third reach in minutes?
Wait, do people misunderstand the montage? Because that's what Cap did. They literally did the same montage with different things as Cap did, which is supposed to take over the course of a couple years of fighting the war.
Yeah, Rocky definitely got faster than Apollo Creed in 3 minutes. That's definitely what happened, guys.
People have to understand that this was a 30-minute episode, right? So they're gonna speed through something.
They had to cram a lot in there.
I didn't have an issue with that, though. I didn't really have an issue with it either. There is one thing, and I didn't say this, but I will say this to it. I like the fact that they did that. They went boom, here you go. Because you don't need the rehashing of the whole damn movie. You don't. We know the movie, and I didn't have an issue with that at all.
That's what if is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
and just to clarify, I read the Spider-Man What If. He still has the power, but Aunt May gets murdered in a burglary. Yeah, instead of Ben dying, it's Aunt May, and then he catches the burglar, and then I didn't read the rest.
And then he beats him to death. Because if he beats him to death, then I'm like, yo, there's a fucking story, all right? He kill my uncle, but my auntie, fam.
From what I read, not even just captures him, brings him to jail. But we are going to get into the meat and potatoes now. Is going to be what we did not like about this episode. And I will go first. I mean, I will let Danny go first. We'll go around the same way. And Danny, go ahead.
I really have nothing to say,
short.
bro. Like I said, I didn't hate it.
Exactly.
Hey, that's right. It's gonna be short, bro.
It's got to be something they could have improved on. Come on now. There's got to be. It wasn't a perfect episode there, Danny. Come on, man. There's got to be something that itched your freaking scalp there. Come on.
Now,
who are you? Who are you? Like, who are you? Like, what are you wearing?
All right, so there's not much Danny didn't like about that episode.
It's just his programs. I told you, he has toys, and he doesn't know. He's like a freaking ADHD child. He's like, oh, I want this. Oh wait, no, I want this now.
But who? Oh yeah. So Ed Hominem just for
it's
just
just
the animated. He loved the show.
What if I was a cartoon? There you go. Here gets your own what if right here.
It's an animated version of him.
He looks like a manga villain. Great. Cool.
Yeah, because
it's definitely like Show Tucker. It's definitely like. I don't.
All right, Chris, get to it, brother. Meat and potatoes. Do your thing.
I think
I'll be right back.
Lunga said it best when he says craziest stories. This isn't a crazy story. Fundamentally changes things that we know in the universe. That's what If was about. It fundamentally changed things and flipped the script on things. This doesn't really flip the script on anything. Okay, so Howard Stark creates the Iron Man costume. That just means we're going to get the Mach 1 and all the other versions from Tony earlier because he was a genius as a kid. So great. That just moves up everything, but it doesn't change the Iron Man still in the MCU because we can't talk about Marvel necessarily. Then that's the other problem. We can't necessarily fully talk about this being the comic, but the comic was designed to say, listen, we're going to take something that we would never really do because it doesn't have to stick around, and we're going to do it. All they did was gender swap in this, for lack of a better term. That's literally all they really did. The beginning and the end, nothing really changes. Instead of Steve being the one 70 years ahead, now it's Peggy. But it's not the fact that it's just Peggy. It is the Captain Marvel-esque character has done the same journey in this as they did in Captain America. So fundamentally, it has not changed anything. And that's the problem I have with this. The What If series was to explore how the Marvel Universe might have unfolded if key moments in history had not occurred as they did in mainstream. Ultimately, most of what happened in Captain America happens in this. So it's not anything that changed the key moments. It's still the same. Only thing we're changing is who Captain America is, or the super soldier is. That's all we're doing. And if they're just going to do this soft flip of the script stuff, I just don't see what the point of that is. And, that is my fundamental issue with this, is that the What If was more aggressive than this. And not all of them, I'll admit. So this is a first episode. I don't disagree with Yellow as far as this was the right first episode. That's not a problem. But man, if we're going to do What If, let's explore the what if of things, not let's just gender swap a character. And that's literally all I felt. And I'm not going off on the whole, the whole woke thing. I'm not even saying that's what it was, because I don't think that's necessarily why they did it. It's just they could have done something a heck of a lot more interesting than just this.
All right. If anybody wants to respond, they can go right ahead.
Can I respond to that?
Sure.
Go ahead, Danny. I can wait until we get to mines, because me and Kurt have the same, similar issue with that.
Okay, so let Danny respond.
I'll just wait let everybody else go, and I'll just wait until you get to me.
Yeah. Go ahead, Danny.
I'm going to be really quick. Based on what Chris said, I see two things that it did change based on what I saw. First of all, it's not going to be a Winter Soldier because it looked like Bucky didn't go through that process, so you don't know what that whole dynamic's been cut out. Also,
that's possible.
Tony Stark may not even become Iron Man. Tony Stark may not even become Iron Man because,
but he
Winter Soldier didn't kill his daddy and his mom, and didn't.
What says he doesn't though? Because he gets the toys. His dad sits there and throws stuff at him because his dad doesn't spend time with him. So he's like, "Yeah, you know what? Here, play with this thing now," or does something. I still think that.
Let Danny finish, Chris. Go ahead, Danny.
Tony Stark took over and became the user's intelligence when his parents died. That company was thrust into him. Now Howard Stark is living. He don't have that, so he's gonna be the playboy, philanthropist, whatever he's gonna do, and then not worry about that because his daddy is still.
We don't know that his dad doesn't die.
Okay.
We don't know that his dad doesn't die. Truthfully, if you want to make this a what if story, you kill Howard Stark. You don't even have a chance for that timeline now because he's not born yet. That fundamentally changes something. That's what I'm talking about. You go for the let's really make sure that these things that we know happen won't happen.
But I'll say this.
Howard Stark stops all of that for sure.
But I'll say this, though. If you see the trailer for the Howard Stark or the Tony Stark one, he gets saved by Killmonger, which means he never gets to be put in that jail or camp or whatever, which means he doesn't create the Iron Man suit, which possibly
but that's a different thing. They're not tied together, though, necessarily, unless that's what they're going to go for. And if they go for that, it's
you're muted, Unga.
This is speculation, but because we don't know what are going to be tied, but they did say that a lot of these stories are going to intertwine, and like we see that one scene from the trailer where you see these new Avengers, and Peggy Carter is one of them. So I mean, they are kind of tied together. They may not all be tied together, so I can't use that as a for sure we're going to do this because we don't know yet. We got to see it. But they are definitely, they've said this, that some of them do tie together, and they're creating a whole different branching timelines off of this. So there is an interconnective tissue with them.
Excellent.
I reserve the fact that right now, this is based off of what I see right now. If this is the direction they're going to go, where they're just going to do softness and things, and now something like that where he's saved by Killmonger or something like that, there could be fundamental, real big changes. That's great. I'll wait to see about those. Right now, with this one, this is not what I consider what if. It is in the vein of what if. I just think that they took a soft and easy way out of it. But being a first episode, maybe they wanted to test the waters and see what people think. Maybe, I don't know. And so this isn't like a hard line. This is going to be my view on the whole show. I will look at every one of these shows and give it its due look. But with this right now, that's how I feel about it. That's my main problem with it, is that I don't know what's going to go on after this. If this storyline were to continue, who knows? But they haven't given us anything that says this doesn't happen and this doesn't happen. So I feel like it's the same thing. Now, if they continued for 5 more minutes and then Nick Fury had explained all the craziness that had happened in the 70 years, maybe something changes there, but I don't know.
All right. LDG, you're up, my friend. Go ahead.
All right, let me get my list here. All right, so, all right, guys.
All right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be back.
I would love to hear your input on this, but
I'm kidding.
if you put the volume up.
I was kidding.
All right, so real quick. Okay, the first problem, it's made for kids. I mean, it is. They dropped the bar on how young they want
is
kids.
Is that a baby face?
Oh yeah, it is.
You're a fucking fool, yo.
You don't even know half the story, big boy.
Oh my God! Here we go.
Okay, let's get back to normal here. There we go. All right, dude. Wow. Seriously, they dropped the bar with this. They brought the demographics so low on this. Now, I am one where I believe that they should make different versions of the same thing while they're in development, so that way we can actually have a disc that says, you got the kids version, the child, the teenager version, and then the adult version, which I can't wait for that day to actually happen. They set the bar so low on this. I was not a fan of that. I can't enjoy this as an adult. Okay. The Watcher's voice. Not a fan of the Watcher's voice. I'm sorry, guys.
You are out of your mind.
I know.
And you have
He
lost
has
all
offended by
legitimacy with that.
I'm
You lost
sorry.
all
Dude,
legitimacy.
he
with that.
sounds more like he should be part of like a mafia show or something like that.
Jeffrey
you know?
Wright?
Dude, he does not come. When you think of the Watcher,
This
you think
is
of
why
more of
it's
an
so hard to
awesome
take you
voice.
seriously.
Oh, you should have been more
Have you
good
lost
voice.
all your
You're
Phantom
the Watcher.
Zones?
I know.
This is why it's so hard to take you
You need
seriously,
to make
LDG.
a Watcher Phantom Zone for
I'm
him.
sorry,
Yeah,
I can do a
need
better
some.
voice.
I need-
Okay, Chris, I'd rather listen to you with your damn echo than that damn voice on the Watcher.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
Jesus.
okay?
Yeah, you have no
Shut up.
credibility left.
Old,
That's
the
why I said
credibility's
shut up.
gone.
old. He doesn't sound ominous. He doesn't sound any of that. It sounds like
Ominous?
some guy
I'm not
listening in
supposed
an
to.
audio studio. He's the
That is not.
he is
That
the
is not the
fucking
Watcher.
okay? Look at
The Watcher's not
background. Chris
ominous.
has it, okay?
He's not
Yes,
Thanos.
he is. His
No, he's
shadow
not.
is
He
the
just
universe.
watches.
What do you mean?
He just watches. That's literally what he does.
Voice
Just
up.
watches.
Voice up.
Time.
What?
Reality.
It's perfect.
It's more than a linear path.
Come on.
You've been living in those. You've been in those filters way
I
too
am
long. It's
sorry.
fucked with
No,
your head,
I'm
LDG.
sorry.
I
It
told
doesn't-
you.
Listen,
it
all
sound-
right,
I
I would
told
love
to be
you.
a
See what
villain,
happens
Mickey.
when he does this shit? It fucks his.
LDG,
Dude, you
listen, I
cannot
would
sit here and
love
tell
for
me.
the Watcher to have been Stan Lee too. I absolutely would have loved that.
That would have been
This
cool.
is the guy. This is the next best guy. Let's be serious. Come on.
Dude, I just
Morgan
think he could have been a
Freeman?
better Watcher. Now,
I mean,
listen, I'm
Morgan
not calling
Freeman
him
is still
shit.
alive. to be
I'm
fair.
not. Okay, let me clarify.
Jeffrey
I'm not calling
Wright,
him
okay.
shit.
And what
I'm
part of
just saying,
Stan
I
Lee
think they
sounds
could have had
ominous to
something
you?
better.
Let me ask you that. What part of Stan Lee's voice sounds ominous to you? Because that was the thing.
Well, he said Stan Lee. Okay, I would agree that Stan Lee can do whatever the fuck he wants. He's fucking Stan Lee.
Well, he
okay?
can, he's dead,
He can
but
be the
that's okay.
voice of Captain Marvel for God's
You don't
sake.
know.
and I'll be
You don't
okay
know.
with it. I mean,
He's back in
I
Marvel
don't give a shit.
Zombies.
But that being said, I'm just saying I was okay. His voice is okay. I just thought they could have done a better voice, man. When I heard the Watcher, I wanted to hear like the voice from freaking the Haunted Mansion or something, just something a little bit more epic. Moving along. That's not the worst thing. That's not a game breaker for me, for God's sakes.
Hold
I
on,
just thought
pause
it
it for a
was
second. I'll
ridiculous,
just keep
that's
your
all.
thought. Go ahead, Chris.
It makes me question.
I was just gonna say, the one thing another thing I did like about this is it reminds me a lot of Twilight Zone, and I loved it. It had that Rod Serling that
You
essence.
got
of
Rod
it.
Sterling from this, and I lose my points. Are you freaking kidding me?
It had the essence of that, and I loved it. It worked perfect. I'm with Lunga and Yellow about this. It was nice. I loved it. There was nothing
Voice
wrong
was
with that.
perfect.
Can you do
Go
me a
ahead,
favor? Can you
LDG.
check your head for holes? Any extra holes in your head right now, please?
I don't know. The holes with your eyes right there with the light coming out of it. You might want to check those. I think
right.
that's where your problem is.
And
Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry,
LDG.
take it from somebody who does graphics. Okay, that animation was unpolished, to say the least.
Okay.
It was
I think
animated.
it was designed that way, though. I think it was meant to be that.
mocapped. They did a decent job with the rendering, with the models that they used, with the mocap that they used, but the final animation was unpolished. And I hate to think you guys can argue with me on that. They could have
I
been a
didn't
little
say
bit
you're
more
wrong.
polished.
Yeah, I disagree with you, but I'm not gonna try and fight. that
Graphics
point.
can
I
always
just-
get better, and when you're a $1 million company like Disney, I
Yeah, look
expect
like you.
to see
You
some
have a 100%
serious
chance of
polished
getting your
graphics.
video better than it already is. We understand, LG.
I was not a fan, and this is something I really aggravated me when I first started watching, was the misogynistic beginning. Like, did anybody else get like they were pushing a misogynistic agenda, especially with that general? It seemed like he didn't give a
You
shit
mean
about the war.
how men acted in the 40s? Yeah.
It was not just like that. It was just the overall everything. I mean, women weren't. I mean, I don't know.
Are we playing
didn't
revisionist
like it.
history now? I mean, are we forgetting
Hold on,
that
he-
women were...
He hasn't actually said it yet. Let him say it first. Before
Let him hang himself with the rope. He's got the rope. Let him hang himself.
Maybe
Then
it's
we
my
can
morals.
chastise him
Maybe
for
because
it.
I would never do that shit. Like when
well, that's-
you look at the
thank you.
general, right, and you have a superhuman soldier, and your only
No, you
reason
just
for
say
not
women
using
shouldn't
it
be buff.
is because it's female. I mean, the second that he said you're lucky you're even in this room right now, she should have busted his head across the damn freaking wall. Like
Well,
you
that
literally,
feels a little-
That's easy to
when
say as a
Marvel
man in 2021. Yeah.
How many times do Marvel shoot down our throat that when the army generals find a weapon that they go like WandaVision, a perfect example, that they go above and beyond to get that super weapon, no matter what it is.
But you're ignoring that they
Yep.
use Steve as like a Bob Hope. He
Right.
basically
And you're also
ran
ignoring
around and
that it
toured.
was the 40s.
I don't judge on 40s. 40s doesn't mean the human race were
It
nothing but
does, because in the
misogynistic.
MCU,
No,
they
because
did
it
not
wasn't
have
like
any
that.
knowledge of any of this
It
stuff.
wasn't
By the time we got
like
to the
that.
modern, the government stuff and his shield and Pegasus and all this shit, they were investigating all this stuff because of what happened in Captain America. That started there. These generals thought it was all hoodoo, voodoo, wiggly woo nonsense. What are you guys talking about? It's garbage. It's not real. They didn't believe that this stuff existed. It's typical. That's actually
Well, you
that's
had the
actually one of the
proof
things that
right in
makes the
front of your
most
face.
sense.
The second she even punched that damn punching bag, like she proved herself. She is a fucking superhuman. And that's fine, whatever. I thought it was a little bit too much. I'm not
Why did
saying
they
it
have
had
Captain
to be
America do
completely
the USO
disappeared.
tours?
Just a
LDG,
bit
I
too
did
much.
Why did they
wanna-
have Captain America do the USO tour then? They knew he was powerful too. They did the same thing to him.
You did just jump over that when I said it, so I'm curious. But regardless, I just want to make sure I understand your concern here. Your concern is that the antagonistic general was too one note. Is that what the crux of your issue here?
He was a
is?
little bit too much, yeah. I mean, he had a super soldier right in front of his face.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
the second she actually did something good, now he's taking all the credit.
Which is what exactly would happen.
That happens,
You know,
right? Like, how many times?
I saw that
always
coming a
happened.
mile
It didn't
away.
ma- listen,
That always happens.
and
I
it
want
still
something
happens.
new. I'm
No,
tired
wait,
of the
wait,
same
wait, wait.
regurgitated
That happens at my job.
bullshit.
I literally go through that at my job right now. Like, what are we?
Oh, that's a
thing.
horrible
I feel
idea.
bad for
And
you.
then,
That's-
and then the
unfortunately,
boss,
at my job, that doesn't happen. But I'm sorry that happens at your job.
That's what's
And
up.
I get it. It's there.
Yeah,
but when I want to show
My girlfriend,
Well,
my
I
girlfriend
did
watched.
I did want to
works in
say
the-
something about LDG's point.
I want to bring it home real quick. What? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hold on, Kate.
this
I
is
don't
the question-
understand anything.
Oh, did you want to say?
Yeah, go ahead,
something?
Kate. No, go ahead, Kate.
Okay, so basically, what I remember from First Avenger, because I remember a lot of people respected Peggy in First Avenger, from what I remember. Because remember, she was training some of the dudes and stuff. She
As
even
an
checked that
agent.
one.
Not in the field. She was not on the field.
Yeah,
Right.
No, I know. Yeah.
But
yeah,
she was still a female, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying. In First Avenger, whatever role she was in, a lot of people respected her. But I do understand that no man will respect her going out there on the battlefield to fight. But when she came to her doing like the behind the desk stuff, I mean, we really didn't see her behind the desk, but she was, making some orders. I remember she did check that one soldier that bullied Steve for, talking shit up. She checked him. Well, I think she did. But she was respected by people when it came to being behind the scenes, not really on the field. So I don't really have no issue with the dude being against her going on the field. So, I just want to let you know that, OG. I don't really disagree with that. Because she did get respect in other places.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Even though I would have enjoyed a different storyline there. That's fine. Whatever.
I mean, but that wasn't my
besides that, I mean, like I said, besides that, I wish it would have been a little bit more graphic. I would have liked a little bit more language, but they made this for kids. You're not going to have that. I was pissed off that Red Skull killed himself. That was fucking stupid. Yeah, all this big and he had a great scene where he fought up the ranks and Hydra, hail Hydra, and all this just to open up a portal and get his ass fucking crushed. That was stupid.
He was stupid. He was always stupid.
That was dumb.
That's true.
That was so dumb.
Did you forget what happened to him at the end of Captain America?
Yeah, he did.
Stupid. I'm just saying, all this buildup.
That was even
and
more
she didn't even fight
anticlimactic.
him.
He just poof.
He just got himself killed and done. Yeah. Then
Yeah,
it was
but
it was her versus tentacle porn, and then what was with the time delay? Like you were just in another portal. What does time not go at the
Are you
same
a science
rate
fiction
over
nerd
the
at
years?
all? Are you at all a science fiction nerd?
That was
a little bit. A little bit.
You know different dimensions where time flows differently.
Different,
You're
Well,
talking about like black
can I say
holes
this?
and stuff.
LDG,
That's not
LDG, you did hit
what?
it.
Was that Kate? Go ahead.
All right, LDG hit it, and I did want to, because this was my issue with it. So my only issue was really the ending part, how Peggy defeated the tentacle
everybody
monster.
else. I thought you were waiting your turn.
Yeah.
That's what, are we skipping, or are we waiting? Are we
Oh,
waiting
I
on your
mean,
turn? Or
well, you guys
Yeah.
were talking about
It was the fact
LDG.
that she
I might as well
actually
just get
won.
it, get it, and all these two.
So to her, it was like a couple minutes in there.
LDG will be done in an
Outside,
hour or
it was
two.
No, LDG will be
let me
fine in
finish,
2
and we'll move along
seconds.
home. It was a couple minutes for her. It was 70 years on the outside. That's only explainable if they actually explain it. But whatever. But she won. That's what cracks me up. She made freaking calamari to a fucking Shumagarath-sized monster and came out the damn portal with freaking tentacle bits and all that stuff. I highly doubt that she actually would have won against a big ass tentacle monster like
right,
that.
but going underneath the ocean, it's we don't need to explain how Steve Rogers just survived.
I love how you can
70 years
defend
underwater.
every single thing.
Right.
It is the most perfect cartoon whatsoever for you.
It's not about defending it. It's just the arguments you make are really nitpicky ones that don't hold much water. That's the issue.
She killed a never-ending growing tentacle monster that was like leaps and bounds the size of her.
But they were starting to push it back and shrink it. Yeah, so I mean, there's
we don't shrink nothing. They were just pushing it back. The damn thing was so big. The only thing we saw up until the last second was this damn tentacle.
Do you have this tentacle monster's power levels? Do you know what can beat it or what can't? I don't.
We don't know anything about it.
Exactly. You don't know a damn thing about it. It should have been 1,000,000 times stronger, or maybe it wasn't strong at all. What the hell? It crushed.
We don't know anything about it too. It should have. I don't know how you can make those two statements.
Well,
it's
because when it suits your argument, you use it. When it doesn't, you push it aside.
No. It was. Did you watch the cartoon? It was crushing machinery. It was crushing people.
It was very powerful.
Actually doing a lot of damage. This thing was not paperweight. It was crushing machinery.
Okay.
How did the Avengers beat
to back you up? So we're gonna move on now.
That's all.
Anything you didn't like about it?
There are issues, like I think what LDG is speaking to is we can't really tell who's powerful to do what. Like we don't know. It seems like there's a lot of like plot convenient power level stuff, right? Like they did like snap the Red Skull. It was like super fast, right? So there are some stuff like that. It's not perfect, but none of that took away from my enjoyment of the show. Like it really there were corny lines. It's the trappings of young animation. That's what it is, right? Like I don't watch the Bad Batch, okay? Maybe a lot of you do. I watched the first episode and I was like, okay, I see what this is. And from what I've heard,
got way better again.
Whatever. From what I've heard, that's what it is. So it's like I get it if you don't like or don't want to watch the childhood stuff, that's fine, right? The lines, there was some corny dialogue.
Really corny lines.
Like just corny lines, right? I don't know, maybe you lose 2 points for that out of 10. Like, I can't really tell what the power levels is. There's some corny dialogue, but I'm hard pressed, man. That shit was fucking dope, man. That shit was really, really good. And I'm a super negative person. So this is
one question, Yellow. And I didn't mention this earlier. What did you think about the fact that when she got her powers, she was like, she was using them for the first time and not even, she was putting herself in situations that she didn't even know if she was going to win. Like, did you see her face when that full blown freaking tank that she knocked over? She was like, oh my God. Like you really did that without knowing you were going to be able to do that?
Steve Rogers jumping on a grenade as a 90-pound weakling? Yeah, I mean, people brave. It's called bravery.
Steve held a helicopter. He held a helicopter. Like he just was like, I don't know if this is gonna. And he didn't know it was gonna work because he then switched his grip. He was like, hold on. I don't know if this is gonna work. So I don't know about this putting yourself in situations that's kind of what the hero does. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, no, maybe after you're the hero, but not day one. Like this was like day one with her.
Yes, day one.
You don't understand the character. You don't understand the character.
Yeah.
Also, it wasn't day one. She was also in that training room throwing like 45-pound weights into walls and shit. I mean,
there were a lot of 45-pound weights.
Anyway, all right.
And Captain America didn't even get that chance because when you watch a movie, which I watched today, they blow up the room and then he goes after the guy that did it. Yep. So right then and there, and he don't know what his power levels are, but he's jumping on cars and that
is the heart. That's the heart of Captain America, though, right? In the heart of Captain America, the whole story of him is that he is a hero through and through and will put himself in danger with or without powers to save people. That's what he does. They displayed that with the fact that he jumped on that dummy grenade when none of the other big guys would have did it, and he jumped on it to do it. That's his heart. And what they're saying is the reason why him and Peggy love each other is because they have that similar heart of wanting to help people and defend. So I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I don't think that's weird.
Is there anything you didn't like about it, Lunga?
Yeah. I will. I'm going to go a couple of things and I actually want to counter a few things that Chris was saying, just because I waited to my portion to do it. Yeah. The lines were corny. I didn't lose a lot of points on that because it's the 40s. Captain America: First Avenger, the lines were corny. I mean, that's the time period. You know, the whole joke of him is him telling people language. I mean, that's that's the whole thing. So it kind of makes sense. White bread kind of deal. So I didn't lose a lot of points with that. The whole thing with the woman not being in the room made sense. I liked it. Especially for the time period, because women were not allowed to be in positions of power. They were not allowed to make rules, not allowed to lead in those kind of situations. They were meant to just do their roles and stay in the background. However, I felt they used that line in the room like too many times. It started to feel a little repetitive to me, and so that kind of just I'm like, was that necessary? Do we need to hear it that much? The first time, maybe second time was fine. Once you start doing it more, then I'm like, okay, now it's getting a little too much.
It was like 3 times.
The third time was too much. Then I'll go back and count it. Okay, I'll go back and count it. But if you start out with the original thing that she was actually in the room, that's 4. So it's actually 4 times. But so I think they pushed that a little too much. The Red Skull thing did bother me, but when I look at everything else here and what the stuff I'm going to say too, it's not as bad as you think, because at the end of Captain America, it's the same thing. I'm the Red Skull. I got the power. Poof. I mean, he just disappeared.
Can I say something about that really quick, though? Again, we're shrinking something that was 2 hours down to 30 minutes, so they're not going to spend a lot of time on something like that. It's going to happen, whatever.
But there's a difference between grabbing the Space Stone, which we find, or the Tesseract, which we find out later is the Space Stone, and him being or disappearing, because we don't know what happened, but he clearly went somewhere because there was a galaxy above him.
We also don't know if he's dead.
Crushing him.
To be honest with you, we don't even know. We don't even know if he's dead. All we saw is the tentacles close down on him, and that's all we saw. We assumed he was dead at the end of Captain America.
Crunch. That was a big crunch.
I think he was dead. It was a crunch. It was like
that's a crunch. He could be alive, I guess.
To what Chris said, they did condense a lot of stuff down so that they weren't gonna. If they put too much explanation and stuff, it was gonna be.
And it was funny.
It was kind of funny.
It's fucked up that it was a joke, but it was funny.
Yeah,
crunch.
That's about the extent of the stuff that I didn't like. Everything else is pretty positive for me, so there wasn't too much that I didn't like. Now, as far as the stuff that Chris talking about, how he says that this what if didn't change anything other than a gender swap. Let's go through this. We'll start with Red Skull since we're just talking about him. The implication of Red Skull not to being taken by the Tesseract is 2 things. He's not on Vormir. That's huge implications for the future. The Soul Stone. That is a big freaking deal that he's not.
I don't think that's a huge implication, because I think it's more of he's a representation of something. I'm not even sure if we ever knew that was the Red Skull. But
right. You said there was nothing but a gender swap. I'm saying there was. To you may not consider it a big deal, but it's a deal.
It might
you can diminish it if you want, but that doesn't mean there was nothing, because there was something. That is something. Yeah. It's not nothing.
That doesn't necessarily fundamentally change.
And that's only that fundamentally changes the whole timeline with Thanos and what's going to happen. That's a big deal. That's only the first thing I know.
The Soul Stone's still there. Just the guardian of it.
Right,
he's not
the Guardian, how they get there, who they talk to, Black Widow, Gamora. You don't know. You don't know how those are going to affect it.
Says there.
Right. Well, let me get through my list. I let you get through your thing before.
Go ahead.
Right.
Hold on, sorry. Just give me 1 second. Danny has to go. So, Danny, shout out your channel real quick before you bounce.
Hey, Chaotic Conversation, Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Khaos list. Guys, I really appreciate it. I've got to go a 2-hour drive tomorrow to work. I will be back next Sunday where I have more time and we'll get into this again. Thanks again, Alonzo, for having me. I appreciate it, bro.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, have a good rest of the
Peace,
good rest
peace.
stream.
Peace.
Later.
See you later, Danny.
Yeah.
So again, to me, that's implication. It does change what happens in the timeline. Bucky does not become the Winter Soldier.
That's pretty big.
Not in this.
Bucky not becoming the Winter Soldier means Bucky does not kill Howard Stark, which means Civil War doesn't
There is
happen.
no Civil War.
Okay,
We don't know that.
There's a
know that.
again, but here's the thing.
You
Chris.
are
Everything.
You're
Chris,
assuming things as much as I'm
please,
assuming things.
Chris, please let me finish.
I don't get it.
Here's the thing. You said categorically there was nothing here but a gender swap. Okay, and I'm showing you the hints of stuff, the implications of stuff that yes, they could or could not be true, right? But you're making an assumption that they won't be either. Okay, so let's be fair. I'm countering your assumptions with my assumptions
That's
based
fine.
on what we know and based on what we know. Okay, because as far as this episode tells us, because Bucky did not die in this episode. So you're saying he may later. I'm saying in this episode, which is what you're basing your opinion on, is this
Yeah, he's
episode,
not dead.
right?
He's alive.
Okay,
Yeah,
he's not
he's
dead.
not.
Okay,
But who says
not
somebody
dead.
else doesn't do that? Because
again,
if
yeah, but
Hydra
here's the thing.
continues, Hydra still wants to do that.
you said nothing changes the timeline. I'm telling you, the fact that Captain America's best friend, who killed Tony Stark's father, doesn't change is a big deal, dude. And you're diminishing it just to
Somebody else
support your
kills
point.
him.
You're
Yeah, but there is no. But
you
there
don't
is
know
no Civil War, though. There's no.
We don't know
you
any of
don't know
that.
that.
So
Well,
what I'm
once again,
saying
you
is
don't-
I
you
don't
don't
think
know-
it fundamentally changes anything
Right,
right
okay.
now.
I would like
as you
to
take the
Chris,
30 minutes.
Chris,
nothing
I would please
fundamentally
like to
changed.
I would please like
Go
to
ahead.
finish what I'm saying here, okay? And
Go
again,
ahead.
I want to stress I'm basing this based on what we saw in this episode, which is what you did. You said it was nothing but a gender swap based on this episode. When I'm showing you that based on this episode alone, there's more. The Red Skull doesn't go to Vormir. Bucky does not die, which means he does not become the Winter Soldier. Okay? The Tesseract does not fall into the ocean and wait years for Howard Stark to find it. He has it. Not only does he have it, the Iron Man suit was created in the 40s, not in the desert with Tony
That's
Stark.
a big deal.
Okay?
That's a really big
and-
deal, son.
Right.
That's crazy.
So if you want to take, and there's some more stuff I can mention too, but if you want to take just those things, and you can say,
Erskine's
well, we don't
still
know, we
alive.
don't know.
That's a
What I'm
big
saying
deal.
is, you're taking 5 things that I'm saying, you're like, oh, but we don't know, someone else can do it. Oh, someone else can do it. So you're diminishing all
I
these
don't
things that
see
they
those
hinted.
as a big deal.
I don't go either way with
Okay.
it. Like I said,
That's fine.
He
That's fine.
has a point. He has a point.
It doesn't
I agree
seem like
with
a big deal.
He
That's
has a
fine
point,
because
but-
it does hurt the narrative that it was nothing but a gender swap. That's why.
Well, like I said, ultimately, what we see at the beginning and the end, and all we know for certain, because we get no context is what's happened in the future, and that's the end of this. All we know is that so far, the only thing that's absolutely changed for certain is that the Captain America character is now Peggy Carter.
No, we also know Bucky didn't die. Sorry. End of World War II,
We
Bucky
don't
did not die.
know what happens though
we
outside
saw
that
it
because
there.
they at the end we're not in the 40s. We are now
Bucky
in
does
the
not die on
current
this. Bucky
time.
died on that train,
They don't
Chris.
tell
He did
you
not
that
die on that train,
he didn't
dude.
die there, but if he does he die someplace else? Do they get him anyways?
Right.
Yeah, he
Again,
gets a fever.
you
He gets a fever.
don't
Use hypotheticals
know
to support your
in the
argument. I
future.
gotcha. Use hypotheticals to support your argument. That makes sense.
No,
ahead.
I'm not
Hold
using
on,
a
hold on.
hypothetical.
Let
At
him
the end of
finish.
it, at
Put the
the
knives
end of
away.
it, in the
No, go
future,
ahead, go ahead.
what is said that says he didn't, or says he does?
Well, nothing.
And nothing
yet.
says that he didn't either. So it
You're
kills
right.
your argument too.
Yeah.
But it
What
kills
I
your
have
argument too,
in my
Chris.
face
It kills
right
your
there.
argument too.
No, what I see at the end,
It does.
the final statement they have shown me is
Bucky's
that
not dead.
Peggy Carter is now Captain America 70 years later.
Bucky's
No,
not dead.
that doesn't-
Outside of
first
that,
of
I
all-
have nothing else.
first of
If
all,
they
she's-
continues, and
first of all,
exactly
she's
what I
British,
said,
number one.
if they continue, yes, okay, I'm
You have
saying
nothing what
Captain
happened in
America
those
is
70
that
years.
character.
You have no idea what happened in
If
those 70 years, Chris.
they continue the story in
find
some
out, hopefully.
other way, then I will change my statement. At this moment, I'm not going to change my statement. And I said that also. I said, at this moment, with this episode. This is where I am, and I reserve the right to change that based off of what they continue if they do a continuation of the story.
No one is asking you to. No one is asking you to change your statement. No one is asking.
But if I will change my statement if I have more context. I don't have that context yet. I have no context.
But I give you the context of stuff that was in this episode, and you're refusing to acknowledge it.
Yeah,
more
because there's no final
just a gender swap. What happened after?
On that,
I think I'm with them on that one, dude.
The last thing more happened with these characters are what you saw with those characters.
I want to see what they're going for on this, and on this,
sure, yeah, me too.
Basically, all they did, was swap this, and that's the only thing that seems to matter to them after the 70 years. Because here she is, there it is.
You don't think, perhaps you feel that way because you're looking at it through a certain lens?
No,
I don't trust them. Were changed. Big dominoes were changed. Now, whether or not where those dominoes ended up falling, I think is what you're trying to make a point at. But he's trying to make a point that not only was it gender swapped, but because of that, other dominoes that we already know are no longer in play. They are different dominoes. So what happened 70 years from now, we're going to find out.
I understand what he's saying.
We know for a fact that Bucky didn't die. We know that the Iron Man suit was created. Like, there are different dominoes in play right now.
LDG complains about it's too childish, but then it's like, let me explain it to you. Dominoes.
All right. Lunga, did you finish with what you didn't like? Go ahead.
Or
your list or whatever.
I was done. But just in closing, real quick, it's like I know you're saying we don't know what's going to happen, and of course, none of us know what's going to happen. That's the issue. But you can
maybe that's what I should have said.
Just because we don't know what's going to happen, you can't ignore the things that did happen, like LDG said. Those things are out of play as of right now. You said looking at face value at this episode, those things taken out of play, and other stuff is put in place. So those are changes. Like it or not, and what they do with them, we'll see.
Yep.
I still don't. I don't think that's. I don't think what they did is going to make a huge.
Put that bucket down in that well, real deep. Pull it up.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I don't think it's really anything that changes the whole aspect of this, because let's look forward and I mean I can't go into the comics because that doesn't work on this. Let's look forward that they're going to find a secondary Iron Man. Iron Man exists in this universe. Iron Man still exists in this universe. It doesn't matter what caused Iron Man. Iron Man will exist in this universe.
If that episode goes with him with Killmonger saving him, no, he doesn't.
No, it exists with this episode. Iron Man exists. It's a prototype. It's the same basic prototype.
It can still happen.
The suit was Iron Man.
Yeah, it just doesn't mean it's Tony Stark, though.
Yeah, I mean, so the beginnings of it exist, and however that goes out there with now the fundamental difference between Winter Soldier and what that brings, I'm not sure, because again, if Howard Stark creates Iron Man and doesn't die, then I guess Tony Stark just becomes an irrelevant character, which means that doesn't change anything because there's an Iron Man. And Iron Man isn't necessarily about the person inside of it, because we found that with Rhodey.
Whoa. This whole 10 years of the MCU was built beginning to end, bookended, of Tony wanting to protect the world and fulfilling his prophecy and dying to save the world. Tony Stark was literally set up to be the whole savior of this whole thing, that it had to be him. That was what they were giving us. You understand? Not just some guy in an iron suit. It had to be. And we're talking about the MCU here, and this is an MCU show. So we're in the MCU universe, whatever they call it, 99999. This is in the MCU universe. And in this MCU universe, Tony Stark was a huge factor of everything happening the way it did.
Flip the script
if
and
you
not say
take
everything
him out of that, it changes everything.
Or we just fast forward, or we just rewind back more, and all this stuff happens earlier because Howard Stark does it then. Whatever. I mean,
wait. So what you would have liked is Peggy Carter.
I didn't say I would have liked it.
No, I'm asking a different thing. What you would have liked is Peggy Carter becomes Captain Carter and Erskine stays alive, and then for some reason we get mutants because of that. Like, you want something that completely changes the MCU as we know.
No, not something that flat out.
Like
No,
that
not
with
something
Loki.
like that.
Erskine staying alive.
I don't want. Honestly, what I would prefer is that they didn't go down the route of taking a story we already have and flipping the little bits there. And I would like kind of one-offs with people and situations change and then take a different direction completely outside of it. Like I said, this one did a recap of Captain America switching a few parts here and there. And that is fundamentally what I wish they would have walked away from. Just let's do something that we don't see. The Captain Carter thing doesn't bother me. The gender swap doesn't bother me. I just wanted a better story that wasn't so in line with what we already have gotten. I think I know
what the issue is. I think I know what the issue is, and
then we'll move on after this. Go ahead.
I get it. No, because when you think about it, you don't want to talk about the comics, but what's our point of reference, or what if is the comic books? That's our point of reference, the comic books.
Unfortunately,
and each of them were a self-contained story. They had a
Maybe
beginning
that's more what I'm going.
and a ramification
that wasn't so open-ended.
All the ramifications of that were all displayed in that comic book.
Yes,
you know
and
I mean?
prefer that. I prefer let's see how this wrapped up.
Which I can understand. Yeah. But they are taking this and they're making a series out of it, and you're going to see parts of it are going to intertwine with each other, so it's not a one-off. Each episode is not a one-off that has its own self-contained story.
And that's why I said at the beginning.
I get why you feel the way you do now with that, but you also got to think about the fact that
that's why I said I looked at this in two different directions. And like I said, I liked the episode. I did, but yeah. I mean, like I said, we'll see what happens with the other ones. I'm sorry, Anzo.
No, that's okay. That was good, man. That was a good debate. That's why I love you guys. Know I love that shit on the show, right? K Dot, we want to hear you, man, and then positive candor. So K Dot, what do you think? What did you not like?
I mean, it really has to do with the ending sequence. You know, like it has to do with the change to the ending. So, give me a moment. Sorry.
Yep.
That is some ghetto shit.
Positive. You go next, and when he comes back.
A long time since I've heard that one. Shout out to you, King. I respect it. My guy brought me back.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, you go, and then we'll go with K-Dots when he comes back.
Yeah, sorry about that, y'all. Mom cooking.
It's all good.
No, Mom burn it. Clean the oven.
Yeah, fire alarm. You know, that alarm going off. She cooking down there. Well, go ahead. Let positive go. Then you can come back to me. Let positive go.
Okay, go ahead, positive.
All right.
Everything.
What are we
the
on?
Whole script.
What you don't like?
Let me just pull up the script.
The episode.
Okay.
Exterior.
Man. Yeah, I think we
We're in the
talked
universe.
about this way more than the episode was, but anyway. Well, first, yeah, if you're gonna call this a what if, should have had. Steve should have flat out died from a bullet. Number one, why is nobody bringing that up? If you want to call this realistic, he should have died from a bullet. I know it's geared towards children, so you're not gonna.
50 Cent
I don't think anyone called it realistic.
He shot twice, wasn't he?
No, just one time.
Just once.
It was just once at the lower gut.
Yeah,
I think he got shot twice. Didn't he get shot twice?
Hold on, I'll check. I'll
check.
check. You guys watch. You guys talk.
People get shot in the gut and live all the time.
Well,
watch the Godfather. 6 times, 6 bullets, and he's still alive. And he was old as fuck.
He may get caught in the gut, and everybody said he's dead. He's dead.
Well, that's everybody assuming.
Okay, disregarding that miracle that he survived the gunshot. Number two,
in the 40s.
He's not a super soldier, so I'm sorry, but if this was the real military, he'd be kicked to the curb immediately. You're out, buddy. Sorry, goodbye, adios. We don't need you.
This is weird. If this was the real military, like, what are we talking about, bro? This is just strange.
That's what I'm saying. If
he should have died. We got a dude who created a super soldier serum. I think it can heal a gunshot wound, bitch. Yeah. Like, what?
Can we mention how many people survive from gunshot wounds in the belly a year? I mean,
yeah, like
people
real
survive gunshot wounds
all the time.
Like everyone in
the
World
40s?
War II that went to the medic, got shot in the belly, they survived. I mean, it happened quite a bit. It's not like a weird. If you're shot in the head, I get it, but shot in the belly.
Yeah, this is post penicillin, yo.
Yeah, he shot one. He got shot once. So go ahead, positive. Finish up.
Okay. I'm just saying, okay. And then number 2, like I said, sorry, but you didn't take the serum, so we got to kick you to the curb, dude. You're out of the military. What use does he have anymore in the military? Explain that to me. None. Zero.
Yeah, because he did have all those medical issues that was keeping him from getting in.
Yeah, he's a 4F in the first place, so he'd be kicked to the curb.
Yeah.
So,
When he took the serum, all the medical issues.
But he was in the military before there was the prospect of a super soldier.
Well,
serum.
they picked.
He got out
They
for
picked.
y'all.
No. They let him in for that purpose. He was part of the group that was being tested to see.
He was
who
a
would come.
test.
and he got picked.
Oh,
and this
okay.
episode starts out with him going in there.
It was
to
designed for him to
serum.
get picked. The scientist that came up with it, or was
Right,
part of
right,
the group
right,
that came
right.
up with it, wanted him to get it.
And the
so
other
they had to
thing
put him
people
in the
got to
group.
remember, the other thing, if you want to understand the positive, he wasn't disqualified as a candidate. He just got shot. So they still have Erskine. They're still going to probably make more super soldier serum. So they're still going to want to make him Captain America because he was still the top candidate.
It's possible.
They wouldn't have kicked him out
but they did.
because they were.
Yeah, because she's from Britain.
because other shit happened. I mean, it's just the point is.
Then
But
Howard got the Tesseract and had an idea.
But they could. I mean, you get what I'm saying here. It was like a year or two. We don't know no time frame. It was montage stuff. It was hazy. Maybe it was a year. But again, maybe it's like, oh, we got other shit going on. We'll get back to this. Put a pin in it. I mean, and he's friends with Peggy, and he's helping her because he was already prepped for this. He could be, kind of a mentor for her to help her through it because he was prepped for it. There's plenty of rational explanations for it, other than saying he would have been kicked to the curb when he was the top candidate to be the super soldier.
Well, I'm sorry, but he would have been.
Okay, sure.
In the real military.
Listen. It's night here, but I can say the sun's out. That I get it. It's
I
fine.
mean, if you're gonna make
It's somewhere.
if you're gonna make a web series, you got to change something. So either number 1, he dies, which they should have done, or number 2.
And then people would have said, "You see what they did? They made him nothing. They got rid of him. They made him nothing."
That's what they should have done.
And then people would have complained about that.
But
I
that's
would
what
have
they
liked.
should have done.
I would have
They-
liked if Steve died because I like when characters die.
Yes, you
but
do.
when it serves a purpose, not just for no reason. But should have died. That's.
Well, I'm
All right,
just
go
saying
ahead.
he should have died. But anyway, that's just me, I guess. Okay, and short of should have died, okay, then he should have been kicked out of the military. Number 2, like
Number
I said. I mean, you didn't become the super soldier, so and how much time did it take Stark to make the goofy suit? Who cares? It'd be for somebody else rather than him. Really?
Was it Goofy in Iron Man 1 when Tony
Well,
made it?
wait, and here I go on the possibility things. I think we mentioned already that the super soldier serum, the scientist. Thank you.
Erskine.
Yeah.
The fact that he didn't die and the fact that the super soldier serum is not all gone, or the chance of making more is not all gone, they might keep Steve around because the plan was to put him in. And if their whole purpose is to have multiple super soldiers, it doesn't stop them wanting to do it. I mean, that part of the story never changes. It's just at that moment with what's going on, his need is put in a different position, and Howard probably takes a liking to him and says, "Hey, I got something you can do. Here you go. Put him in the suit." I mean, again,
Also,
and then,
I think they kind of insinuated with Peggy that they just wanted her to be a lab rat. So if there are any problems, they can figure it out before they give it to like Steve or someone else. I mean, they kind of insinuated that too.
I'll add to positive candor. If the bullet didn't kill him, that fucking blast at the end of the show, that should have killed him.
And let me say this before
That last
positive
explosion at the end, that was ridiculous how he survived that.
Let me say this to positive candor, because we have a zombie episode. Maybe the zombie episode is because they try to use the super serum again, and it's not fucking perfected.
Ha!
That would be cool. That would be interesting.
I was thinking over there. The brain juice is flowing.
Well, I was thinking this because it kind of makes sense if they're going to do like sort of parallels with things. What if, with all them serums and stuff, we know Hydra is still going to take over, parts of the U.S. government and stuff. So what if Steve instead becomes a Winter Soldier? He gets a serum, and they go through the Winter Soldier process with him, Peggy's going to fight a Winter Soldier that's going to be someone close to her, and that was Steve.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just saying, I'm just saying that maybe, that would be nice to happen because, Bucky's life. And this thing, Bucky could still be the Winter Soldier because what if Bucky does become a super soldier candidate? Because we know for a fact Hydra is going to take over the U.S. government. Because
Red Skull don't know that for a fact in this universe, K-Dots.
No.
We don't know that for a fact in this universe.
No. Well, I'm going off this because Red Skull is just one of the many snakes, but there's still more people in Hydra.
I'm sure Hydra will still be infiltrating this, but we don't know they're going to take over. I mean,
I'm not saying they're going to take over, but Bucky or Steve, maybe they might make multiple Winter Soldiers. I don't know, but Steve could be a Winter Soldier.
If anything, I think they're going to play off of that thing that everyone hated, which I thought was a great comic book series, and have Steve saying, "For real, hail Hydra."
Maybe.
What was it? Dark Empire? Dark Empire? I think that was a movie series, right? Dark Empire.
Yeah.
Well,
that would be interesting.
Anzo, could I say? Because I really only had one issue with the episode. And it was just
go ahead.
So my only issue was also I wish with Peggy, it has to do with the Tesseract. So from what I remember from the Tesseract, based on what we've seen, when Loki used it, he teleported somewhere else. Thanos used it, teleported somewhere else, and same with Red Skull. So I'm wondering how with the Tesseract, Peggy went 7 years into the future. I mean, if she had the Time Stone, yes, it's for time and stuff. But the Space Stone, it just teleports you. That's just going off of what we know, from what I know. So I think if they did something different, like what if Peggy was the one who went to Vormir, or she got teleported to Asgard, or maybe, teleported to Thanos and became a child of Thanos or something. I don't know. Because the Tesseract only teleports people from what we've seen. The Time Stone
has a lot of power.
With absolute time
too. It's a huge power battery, basically. You could use it to power an entire planet, an entire army.
Yeah, also that too.
Yeah.
But, it was just weird that she teleported 7 years into the future. That was my only issue with that. I wish they, stuck with how the Tesseract usually works and just teleport her somewhere else. And put her some other place. Teleport her to where, maybe.
I thought.
To where somewhere else.
Teleport. I thought they opened up another gate.
They did.
It doesn't.
It opened up another gate from somewhere else.
Yeah, but it's not its
like
thing.
how Loki came through.
It's one of the things it can do because it's the Space Stone, or theoretically. I mean, basically what the Tesseract is the Space Stone. So you can traverse space quickly, like wormholes with it. But it also harnesses all the energy of space. That's where all this power. What its main thing is because if you see what its usage is and what they want to keep doing with Project Pegasus, and that when it gets into Marvel and all the other stuff, that it's a gigantic power source. That's the big thing of it is how much of a power source it is and what it portends and what it can. It's Tony Stark's arc reactor times a billion. So I mean,
but it's only supposed to be able to transverse you. It's only supposed to transverse you within the universe that it has power in, or else it becomes a paperweight. It's not supposed to transmit you to some other dimension where time doesn't matter. It can only transverse you anywhere within the universe.
How do you know that's not the same
she
universe?
Just went 7 years into the future.
Right. How do you know that's not the same universe?
Yeah, she went 7 years in their own universe. Mm-hmm. That's what happened.
No.
She probably a different dimension.
She went through the portal. The Tesseract stayed where it was.
Yeah.
Then they took the Tesseract. They came back 70 years later, and they opened up another portal with the Tesseract. It's not like she went through there,
right,
and then came back out instantly.
Or where the tentacle monster was near an event horizon.
Monster was. She was over there.
Time slows down. You know what an event horizon is, right? You know what an event horizon is, and you know how time slows down around an event horizon to where
it's a black hole.
Okay. That's what we think. Yeah. But you could still be on the outskirts of Event Horizon and not be sucked into the black hole. I mean, wasn't that the whole thing with McConaughey's movie? Was it Interstellar? Right? Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
No. You could be on a planet or wherever this tentacle monster is, which is near an Event Horizon, and you could legitimately be only a couple minutes there and be 70 years here. There's plenty of actual. Even though I don't like bringing real stuff in because it's a fucking cartoon and superheroes, but. If you're knocking it, I can say, no, theoretically, that can make sense. That can happen in the same universe. It doesn't have to be another dimension.
That's a stretch.
Because that's exactly what happened.
Science fiction movies over and over on it.
No, it's not, because that's exactly what happens in Interstellar, right? the
Yeah.
planet is orbiting it, and the closer they get to it, the time was slowed down for them.
Right. He was there for
15
years.
minutes.
Yeah. He was there only
Right,
for like 10 minutes, but like 30 years passed on Earth
right.
or something. Yeah.
And,
So
and in
Positive,
a much
did you
better
finish?
movie
Oh, go
like
ahead.
Contact.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I can't remember Contact too much. I only seen it once. Positive,
Contact
did you
was
finish, or you had anything else?
No, I was gonna say some more stuff, but
Oh, go ahead,
Yeah,
Positive.
go ahead.
and why you gotta call yourself captain in the first place? If you might as well call yourself, even aim higher. Call yourself colonel or general or something.
What is happening right now? I don't understand what is happening right now.
This is weird.
This is like
really. This is
this-
strange.
I don't understand what is
Okay,
happening right now.
It's okay. Let him finish, Longa. Let him finish.
What?
Commander,
Go ahead.
anything, right?
Why have it the same? Is all I'm saying.
Super Carter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Just change it. Supreme Leader Carter. I don't care. What
It's
Okay.
a U.S. military rank.
Oh
That's
my God.
why. And it's also a British military rank. There's a captain. Captain lead men. It's a captain.
So why not?
Yeah, but a
aim
captain
higher?
wouldn't necessarily be like the
not aim
front
higher?
line, right?
No, but it's
yeah.
also
Colonel,
like
General,
alliteration, and it's corny. I mean, if you want to say it's corny, then yeah. But I've always said Captain America was corny. So like, if that's the issue, then sure. But
Fundamentally
Just
speaking,
because
you're
he has
right.
The same colors as Superman does not make him corny, man.
I think the point of Captain America.
Well, Yellow doesn't like Superman
Well,
either, so
See, there's
within
lines are there.
Go ahead, Chris.
within the context
And
of
I
the
wanna get to our
MCU,
final
Captain
so we can close
America
it up.
is absolutely Captain America within the context of the MCU is absolutely corny. But that's the designed intent because they take somebody from the 40s where he's very much in his element and sounds perfectly fine, and they throw him ahead 70 years. And it's like, oh my God, what would happen when you had never heard of Beyonce or if you never wanted to use a swear word, because that's just not what men do, or that's not the norm. I mean, walk around everywhere today. If you don't hear a fuck or a shit or something within a large group of people, it's like, oh man, this is weird. Back when he came from, guys, language. That's the designed intent. So that part of this whole thing did not bother me.
Yeah.
I just meant like the concept of Captain America. Period has always been corny. The name is corny. Like the character is corny. All
A
of it
lot
is
of comics are corny at heart.
absolutely. So it's weird to be
Right.
like Captain. Why would you name yourself Captain Carter? It's like
and as far as one of the
alliteration.
comments, someone asked, wasn't she a major originally? I don't know if the comic book said this, but as far as the MCU is
What?
concerned, she's always been Agent Carter. She's never held a military rank.
Yeah,
She's
she was
always
No,
been
I was
Carter.
agent.
Oh, and
All right.
wait, also,
Jesus.
Go ahead, Kate.
another thing. real quick.
Really? Oh my God. He looks like what was Dom DeLuise's
Captain
character in Cannonball Run. He looks like Dom DeLuise's, alter ego in Cannonball Run.
Oh yeah,
Captain. That's what he looks like. Holy shit. What the fuck?
That's an old ass
LG?
reference.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, K-Dots, and then Positive Hunter, and then we'll move on to the last so we can close it up. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead. K-Dots.
So while I thought they should have done something different, because at the end of the day, we still end up with a Captain America type of person in the position like Steve was. Same situation 7 years into the future, but is definitely different. So if I remember, I think they showed it in Ant-Man 1. It was Peggy, Howard Stark, and someone else were the reason S.H.I.E.L.D. was created, right?
Mm-hmm.
Peggy was one of the big reasons for it. So, even though she did run into Nick Fury and Hawkeye, are they of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Maybe Hydra or something? I don't know. But maybe S.H.I.E.L.D. might have not been created, too. Or the establishment of
yeah,
S.H.I.E.L.D.
and we don't know because they used the Tesseract. We know the last time that we saw it was they were using the power to suit, and Howard Stark was involved. But we don't know in those intervening 70 years what happened. Did it stay there? Was there a Project Pegasus? Because remember, technically they should have been able to use that because it was supposed to be in Marvel's hands for the longest time. Until he came back.
Very funny.
Uh-huh.
And then after Marvel, we didn't see it until Loki came back with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we don't. If they have the Tesseract in whatever year that is, I'm going to assume it's like the beginning of when Captain America came out of the ice. If it were around that time, what was it, 2012 or something like that? 2014, 2013 when he came out of the ice.
Yeah.
They've had this Tesseract this whole time, so the implications of that we have no.
Yeah,
idea.
it changes. Yeah, that's why I wish the one thing that did stay the same also changed, because as much stuff as they was changing, Bucky living, Tommy Lee Jones character dying, who did respect Peggy, and then this other guy was disrespecting the mess out of her. Steve being in the Iron Man suit before Tony. I think they should have went forward to also change, taking away maybe a Captain America from the Avengers. Like change it all. At this point, you should have changed it all. Like really go there, change everything.
All right. And Positive, do you have anything else to say?
Well, didn't the scientist again die at the beginning of this one?
No, that was Tommy Lee Jones's character.
Yeah, it was Tommy Lee Jones' character.
Yeah.
Erskine was alive still.
Erskine was still alive at the end of the episode. Right. Meaning he can make more super soldier serum, because that was the whole reason why all this super soldier race stuff happened, because they were reverse engineering everything that Erskine did. The only soldier serum that he made was put into Cap. Everything else after that was all reverse engineered by other scientists.
Cool. So what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to get into our final impressions and our grades. Chris Knights, your grade and your final thoughts on the show.
I'll give it a B minus. Like I said, I had some issues, but I enjoyed it. I mean, just again, subjectively looking at it, watching it as a fan, I was okay with it, and I liked the animation style a lot. Unpolished or not polished, I don't, unpolished or polished, I don't give a crap. The animation style I think was fun for what it was, and I just hope that they go a little more out of the box than this. I think Lunga said exactly what I'm thinking of is I'd like a conclusion to some of these. I don't want these all to be intertwined. I think the what ifs were very nice to be, this is it, here you go, this is the scenario, boom, done. Next one, let's go. It's just something new. That maybe was my fundamental issue with the whole thing, is that what are we trying to do? I hope they don't go 8 episodes and try to make them all tie together because the multiverse is fractured and opening up to each other. Maybe, I don't know what they'll do, but yeah. And the Watcher, though, that was great. I love the Watcher. The just that whole, I like that.
What was your grade
there? Huh? It was B minus. B minus. I think I'm being a little generous with that for me, but I'm okay with it.
Alrighty, Lunga, grades and final thoughts.
Yeah, I do the number system. I don't like the limitations of A through F.
No problem.
But with the number system through 10, I would say I would give this a strong 7.5, 8 out of 10. I thought it was a strong episode. I thought it did exactly what
B plus
to do.
Yeah, I thought that.
I don't know where that falls on the A to B the F schedule, because
F, like D minus, D plus.
I know.
C,
the reason why I don't like that is because it reminds me of school too much, and it was very judgmental. So that's why I don't like the A.
It is very judgmental. That is the purpose of these shows. God damn it, judgment.
Yeah, but I feel the even if you add the minuses and plus, that the 1 through 10 I feel gives a little more wiggle room to stuff than they. But yeah, so it was a 7.5, 8. And only lost points for the couple of things that I mentioned in it. And true for me, for something to get like a 9.5, 10, it has to like blow me out of the fucking water. And while I thought this was great, it didn't do that. It was fun, but so that's why 7.5, 8.
Excellent. All right, Yellow.
Yeah, no, this is a strong 8, bro. Out the gate. I mean, like I said, there was only a couple things that I really didn't like about it. A little bit of the power scaling stuff. It's a kid's show. The lines were very corny. It's a kid's show. So it's like, I'm not like, it's a kid's show, I hate it. But it does have some of that stuff that, like, I've been watching kids shows for 30 something years. You feel what I'm saying? So like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like I do want something more, but the MCU also gives me other things more. So it's not like, Star Wars where it never grows up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, 8 out of fucking 10. This is perfect. You can watch it with your kids. You know what I'm saying? You can watch it without your kids. Like I really enjoyed it. I love how they handled all of the different characters that played a role, and some of the characters who were just kind of like side characters, like the what is the little brigade, man? Steve's little brigade. What were they called? I forgot what they were called, but Dum Dum Dugan and all of those people, man. They were, Dum Dum was great. Dum Dum was hilarious. He's like, since when they sending games to? Today. Oh, they started doing this now. Okay, cool. All right. Like that's the. You know what I mean? I thought there's a lot of stuff in there that really worked for me. So 8 out of 10, strong. I loved it, man. I really liked it a lot.
Excellent. Next up, LDG, if you're there. Okay. Oh God.
Well, I've done a lot of comic books in my day.
Oh shit!
He's attempting to look like
Sergeant
Stan Lee,
Slaughter.
apparently. Yeah. I think you're pulling off more Slaughter than Stan Lee here.
A little bit. This guy didn't do that. It's all right. I got a better Sean Connery. Anyway, what would I give it? We all made good points. I want to see what they do with this. I do hope that every single one isn't mixed together. I hope some of them are just one-offs. If the multiverse is truly splitting, then not all of them have to be linked to each other.
Right.
I wouldn't mind some Doomsday or whatnot. I do want to see like a Doomsday ending on one of these episodes, and I'm afraid it's going to be the zombie episode, but we'll see. Yeah. I'll give this episode. What were we doing grades here? I'd give it a good. I'd give it a B-. It could have been better. It wasn't shit. I know I made fun of it, but it wasn't horrible. But I'd give it a B-. Could have been better. I really wish we would have had a more adult-pointed. Yeah, for the most part. Though the whole how they're gonna link this together, and maybe even because have we even talked about if this is even gonna impact into the MCU at all, like even in the slightest? You know what I mean? Like, is Kang gonna be mentioned at all? Is there even gonna be the slightest mix into the actual MCU?
That they may be, but I think by the nature of it, what if it kind of means that it won't? You know what I mean? But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Is there possible to see offshoots of these characters in their own timeline, doing their own stories? I think that's a possibility. Yeah. I don't think they're going to
keep saying multiverse
and put them with. I mean, unless we get the Battle World. If we get the Battle World, that can happen. Yeah.
This is part of the multiverse, LDG.
That's what I'm saying. They keep saying multiverse specifically. So this is all the MCU attempt to creating this multiversal event that is in some form or fashion. That's what's happening. That's what the MCU is right now. It isn't just one timeline. It is the multiverse now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's what Loki gave us, but I don't think it's going to have any bearing on like the movies that we watch. I don't think none of this stuff is going to be
right.
I don't know.
And I want to see what they do with like Doctor Strange, because maybe they make them, even if they give us an Easter egg level, like, nothing that's definitive, but more of an Easter like Doctor Strange says, I've seen a realm where this happens, or just mentions it or something.
Well, the Doctor Strange episode is actually supposed to be 2 Doctor Stranges, believe it or not. It's actually supposed to be the Doctor Strange from the main timeline, and another version of him where his the woman that he was in love with, whatever her name, the doctor, she dies, and it makes him be a darker, like his whole point of using the power is to try to find her or bring her back or something to that effect. And the main Doctor Strange comes and says, like, what the fuck are you doing? That's what it's supposed to be.
K-Dot, what's your grade for this episode?
All right.
I thought, since this is part of the MCU, the dialogue was very corny compared to the other MCU stuff, but I mean, this is a straight up kid show, and hey, let it be. I like the animation. Action was cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess a B-. I could drop it to a C, but it's just okay. Like, it's literally okay. I'll go to B-. Yeah. This show is okay. It's nothing amazing. It's okay. So far.
Positive Candor, what is your grades for this episode?
Here it comes. Get down!
F.
An F.
Originality at its best.
Any thoughts
That's all right.
on it? Any final thoughts?
The only final thought I have is I want to see Crocodile Loki as a what if. I want to see Frog Thor as a what if. If you don't give me that, I'm going to continue giving the Fs. Sorry.
That's a very interesting way to judge television shows.
I mean, listen. The one thing you can't argue his idea is that like they're narrow, but at least he has like this is what I want to see. And if you don't give me that, I don't want to watch it. I can respect it. I think you're a little too narrow in your thinking, but hey, if that's what the man wants to see,
I don't think any of us will complain if we get Alligator Loki. I don't think no one's complaining.
I hated the Alligator Loki thing.
I liked Alligator Loki.
Alligator Loki.
Oh my god! In the post-credit scene, I was like, "Oh, that's cute," but I also wish they didn't do that post-credit scene. But that's a whole different conversation. I was like, "Oh, that's cute," but then he had like a main role in the plot of that episode. Nah, get the fuck out of here, man.
Right. And he was more Loki than Loki.
One thing I would want to talk in the comments. Jason Lee is talking about how he said a couple times now how Captain Carter is rumored to be in Doctor Strange too. Let's clarify one thing here because words do change the context of a sentence. She's not rumored to be in it. There's a lot of people like us who happen to work for bigger publications speculating that we could see her because of this and the tentacles and the blah, blah, blah. But that's not a rumor.
Isn't that a rumor?
That's a theory crafting and a speculation. It's not the same thing as a rumor.
And I want them to come up with.
Then what the hell is a rumor?
A rumor is meaning I've heard from sources, people around the project are kind of talking about it. We've seen this, we've seen that to indicate maybe we'll see this. These are just people who watched the episode, saw the tentacles, thought, "Oh, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, the crazy creatures he fights. Oh, maybe she could show up there." That's theory crafting and speculation. That's not.
I mean, wasn't they saying this before the episode dropped? Like people rumors and stuff about Captain Carter being in Doctor Strange too. I was hearing people say this even before the episode dropped.
Again,
like, it's rumored that I'm not saying they're true, Lunga. There's a lot of people saying it's rumored. Yeah,
I've done it myself. Yellow corrects me all the time. We use words wrong. What happens to us all the time. Okay, rumor typically means right or wrong. That they got some kind of indication from people in the know that this could possibly be happening. That's more what rumor is.
Rumor is a good way of putting it. Is that I have sources that I can't tell you who they are.
Right.
That have told me this.
I agree with that. Speculation and rumor. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I would agree with that. Locker room. Yeah, exactly.
Can I say one quick thing? Because there is an issue in the universe right now. So Ashley gave this a D. Mm-hmm. Ashley gave this a D. Now that's surprising. I am surprised and I am shocked. I want to hear Ashley's opinion on this. Ashley, you need to do a stream tonight. I need to hear your opinion.
I don't think
that is shocking.
I don't think B's a bad grade.
No, she gave it a D. Grade. Ashley gave it a D.
Oh, a D. You said D. Bro. D is in dick. Oh, jeez. Okay. Whoa. Okay.
Ashley is a Marvel fan, bro. She ain't no just random Marvel fan. She's a Marvel.
Explaining to do, Ashley.
Look, hey. I can drop this to a C, but a D, I want to know what's up.
Yeah,
I'm giving Ashley. I need to know.
Women don't like women, yo. Women don't like women.
I am giving it a B plus. I
Panel
thought
full
the
of
episode
dudes.
was good.
Yeah,
it's not a perfect episode, but it's definitely a B plus episode.
Women are on front line, Yellow. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, that's why we're here.
Hey, to be fair, I don't like men either.
Sus as hell. Shut up, K-Dots.
Hey, I only suck cock a couple of times, you know.
Wow. Okay. All right. In the Phantom Zone. See you later, K-Dots.
Thank you for playing the old school one. This is very necessary at this moment.
Yeah,
K-Dots has been Phantom Zone.
Wow.
That was
wow.
I only suck cock. Boom.
I seen it coming. I had the button ready.
Wow.
He didn't even get through the couple. He was like, I only suck cock.
That gives a whole new context to. That gives whole new context to.
Oh my gosh. Does that suck?
Yes. But still, I can hate men though. I can still hate men.
Sure.
Hey,
There's lots
hey,
of women that hate
Kelly
fuck.
G.
I get it. It's fine. It's fine.
I can help you with your problem. Do that and it'll help.
Shit, that was fun, guys. It was a great show. I do appreciate everybody that came on today. Just remember, next week we will be on at 9:30 because the JJ Roundtable isn't going on anymore. So the regular time is 9:30. We'll have Comic Division on the panel. It was missed this week, but it's going to be interesting next week. I can tell you that. But with that being said, guys, we are going to close it up. Peace, love, and hair grease. Thank you, everybody, once again. See you next time.
I am inevitable. Follow me and ponder the question, what if?